this just happened to really connect with a bunch of people, millions of people actually.
Hello my friends, and welcome back to Where Are They Now? In today's video, I'll be giving you the rundown on Bridgerton's musical co-creator Abigail Barlow. Known best for her TikTok fame, Abigail Barlow was born on November 9th, 1998 in the US. Her social media handle is Abs of course, and Abigail is an inspiring singer and media personality for both YouNow and Musical.ly. She varies between publishing original songs and covers on her YouTube channel, some of which she has performed by other famous names like Adele, Sia, and Shawn Mendes. Abigail is also currently being sued by the Bridgerton creators and Netflix for quote, copyright and trademark infringement of its Emmy-nominated series Bridgerton. But before we get into all that, let's rewind a bit. Abigail is a 23-year-old Grammy award-winning singer-songwriter best known for her independent pop hit Heartbreak Hotel, which peaked at number 2 on iTunes and curated over 6.5 million streams so far. Her YouTube channel saw her uploading content as early as August 2013, and she was registered for YouNow back in May 2014. Abigail was recently honored by the Songwriters Hall of Fame and accumulated a spot on Forbes' prestigious 30 Under 30 list. Abigail has a writing partner named Emily Bear, and they were both given the title of masterminds behind the viral Bridgerton musical, which became an overnight TikTok sensation. Abigail currently has 3 sisters named Eliza, Anna, and Arabella. As a teenager, Abigail's passion for performing live became purified as she discovered the worldwide audience she could cater to online with platforms such as YouNow and Musical.ly. She's maintained over 600,000 supporters on the latter app and was titled a YouNow Editor's Choice for Musicians since. In 2007, she was a Shorty Award nominee as well as a content creator on TikTok, where she would write and perform her original songs in real time for her growing fan base. She has since accumulated over 2.4 million followers there and has received opportunities to connect and collaborate with multiple established artists. One is Meghan Trainor, who co-wrote and produced a song on Abigail's self-titled debut EP in 2020 after being discovered on the app. The song is titled Phantom Feelings and was the career move amongst many that painted Abigail's career from an online hobby to an established musician. Currently, Abigail continues to release independent music while still also creating newer compositions opposite her writing partner Emily. Now remember when I told you about Netflix suing Abigail at the start? Here's how it pertains to what we've learned so far. Before making Grammy history and being behind the TikTok viral Bridgerton musical, Abigail and her partner Emily had a pretty average start in life. The duo, officially known as Barlow and Bear, started as acquaintances of a mutual friend in 2019, where they spent their first hangout watching reality shows and gossiping about dudes. Their connection soon developed into a working relationship on musical projects alike, which features a unique blend of Emily's technical composition alongside Abigail's knowledge of writing chart toppers. When the creative duo found out they'd been officially nominated and later won their respective category this year for a Grammy for Best Musical Theatre Album, they were living it up in London in true Bridgerton style. The composers were channeling their inner posh vibes while enjoying high tea amidst the discovery, ironically enough, and the Barlow and Bear duo detailed how they were in absolute shock with what came from their hit creation, the unofficial Bridgerton musical. To be fair, I would feel fairly overwhelmed as well if I was dubbed the quote youngest ever composers to be recognized in the category. Not to mention its uniqueness stems from it being the only piece nominated for its year in the musical theater album category by women, as well as the first project nominated in the mentioned category, which grew from a collaboration under TikTok. This is outside of the title of being the first ever TikTok musical created, as that one went to the Ratatouille the TikTok musical as a homage to the Parisian rat turned chef named Remy from the Disney Pixar franchise of the same name. The Remy TikTok gained serious buzz, became a sensation, and managed to capture the attention of Broadway actors and producers. From this, they staged a one-time benefit show in January 2021, where they raised over $2 million for the actors' fund. The TikTok creators behind the original concept also saw compensation for their work, as well as being credited for being the big brains behind the operation. And to think this all began during the lockdown when Abigail watched Bridgerton with materialized ideas in the back of her mind for a musical. She soon discovered that Daphne Bridgerton's love match story playing on screen would be the perfect recipe for Broadway, especially because around the time of the pandemic spreading and reaching its peak, both Abigail and Emily were developing musical projects but nothing was sticking for either. The pandemic itself was posing as a major setback for a lot of creatives with cool concepts in mind, such as Barlow and Bear, and Broadway especially faced massive hits to their business as stage productions continually shut down and mass crowds of singers became a breeding ground for disease-spreading taboos. The TikTok, which was a massive hit on the platform, showed Abigail asking if Bridgerton should become a musical and was uploaded to the app just a few weeks following the show's debut. In it features Abigail belting her and Emily's first Bridgerton-inspired track titled Ocean Away, which would eventually cater to their self-composed and written 15-track conceptual album within 6 weeks of the start of their project. Abigail describes the feeling of being, quote, full circle, since at the very beginning they faced major frustration for not being able to work, to suddenly getting recognized for the very thing behind the scenes. Loads of the creative input even stemmed from TikTokers globally who helped pitch idea lyrics and fact-check things from the show for the musical creators. The creative duo even made it known that if the Bridgerton stage show is ever made, they would be delighted to include the singers and writers who first made contributions to their ideas through TikTok. Abigail also remembers the show being a huge hit worldwide and knew that everyone who partook in watching the series back then would feel like they were also along for Abigail and Emily's journey in creating the album in real time through live streaming their process on TikTok. The attention this garnered was massive, and the project continued to grow with thousands of viewers being sure to tune in to watch Abigail belt, while Emily backed her up on the keyboard or through programmed orchestral sounds, all of which they seemed to develop their musical right before the internet's watchful eyes. The themes of their musical body of work, despite its antique-esque nature through costumes and marriage customs, tackle a multitude of contemporary issues which involve things from race and gender to sexuality and class statuses. Netflix's initial response to this blow-up concerning their show, though, was that they were taken aback by fans' quote creativity in response to the show. But at this point, Netflix still had not given their blessing to produce an official musical from this response, which now leads to the latest and not so greatest from the Barlow and Bear duo. In a semi-shocking turn of events, Netflix has gone through with suing the two women who created the Grammy-winning musical album inspired by their show. Netflix has claimed that the creative duo has taken things a step too far by planning live shows around Bridgerton and selling merch under the grounds of not having permission and banking off of ideas they don't own any rights to. The musical that got its start on TikTok is now behind accusations of their creators, quote, blatantly infringing on the streaming platform's intellectual property right. From a recently filed lawsuit, Netflix alleged that Abigail and Emily, alongside their Barlow and Bear company, have been appropriating others' creative work and goodwill to simply benefit from the success of the show through planning live shows around their musical and selling Bridgerton branded merchandise without Netflix's permission. Executive producer Shonda Rhimes popularized the streaming series based on the books of the same name by Julia Quinn, but Netflix owns all the adaptation rights. So when Abigail and Emily originally released their album, Netflix confirmed that they did not authorize nor approve of it, but also that they weren't going to stand in the way of their creative process, end quote, in the spirit of supporting the girls' appreciation for the show. However, Netflix has since stepped forward to address the fact that they feel the duo has pushed their limits through their appropriation of the creative work of those behind the streaming show and their refusal to negotiate a license to market and expand from their Bridgerton-related work. The lawsuit explains how Netflix owns the exclusive rights to the creation of Bridgerton songs, musicals, and any/all other derivative works based on the series, as well as the reflection of the hard work and success of hundreds of Netflix employees and artists who have worked on the show. In stating this, the lawsuit also details that Abigail nor Emily can take away that right made by others' valuable work for personal use or gain without permission. But despite this, that is exactly what the creative duo have initially done. Netflix further claimed in its suit that as a company and business, they have repeatedly told Abigail and Emily that their works in relation to the show were not authorized. Worse, according to Netflix's lawsuit, Barlow and Bear's representation had previously reassured Netflix that they would not go any further than releasing their online album without first getting the company's approval, because they didn't want to interfere with the company's rights, nor be known solely as the quote Bridgerton girls. Despite this, they still went on to plan a live Broadway star performance. The promotion promotional material details how Washington, D.C.'s National Symphony Orchestra at Kennedy Center was used with permission and was not endorsed or sponsored by Netflix or its partners, even with it being a Netflix trademark. Once the show being held at Kennedy Center in early June reached Netflix attention, they explained once again how they told Abigail and her partner multiple times that live performances were not included in their original terms and that this would be considered, quote, copyright and trademark infringement. In accordance with the lawsuit, still, Netflix had extended the courtesy of allowing the girls to keep distributions of the album, continue with a few live performances, and even perform with their Bridgerton songs as part of larger programs, but Barlow and Bear declined. Alongside this, Netflix accused the duo of using their Bridgerton marks on promo material and backdrops, as well as incorrectly claiming they received permission to use them in the first place. Following this, both Shonda and Julia issued statements in support of the ongoing lawsuit. In Shonda's response, she stated that Abigail and Emily's project started off as a fun celebration, but since then had taken on the face of blatantly swiping off intellectual property solely for their benefit. In Julia's, she spoke about them being wildly talented, but that there was a huge difference between creating TikTok content and exploiting said content for commercial gain. She also discussed being an independent creative professional and hoped that the duo would understand her perspective of needing to protect other professionals' intellectual property, which includes the characters and stories Julia created over 2 decades prior for the Bridgerton novels. Conclusively, the pair are currently in the works of developing 2 additional movie musicals, one of which is with actress Margot Robbie and Lucky Champ Entertainment, while the other is alongside producer Mark Platt. Abigail has been dubbed one of the richest TikTok stars, as well as listed on their most popular stars ranking. According to analysis and sources, her net worth is approximately $1.5 million. But how much can her comfy net worth help her out in what will eventually become a huge legal battle? Now that is it for today's WATN. If there are any other Hollywood hotties you'd like to see in our next rundown, please feel free to drop them in the comments below, and don't forget to let us know what your thoughts are on today's Where Are They Now video. This was your host Michaela, and I'll see y'all in the next one.